Everyone. Thank you for tuning in with Dr. Leisha, the preacher. Okay. Yes, I was just listening to a panel of, I believe everyone on the panel were Black. There was a combination of men and women. And the topic usually with these type of content creators is just how horrible Black women are. That's really what it's about. um, and so I was on the panel. Anton Daniels went on about how Black women historically are worse than white men when it comes to Black men. Black women treat Black men worse than a white man has ever treated a Black man. Those were his words. And he pretty much said, just get rid of Black women and their kids. You know, just get rid of, start over, you know? And that idea, that concept is real and alive through a lot of Black men's minds and hearts toward Black women. Now, mind you, he is married to a Black woman and has a Black daughter. He claimed he come from, successful Black people. His parents were married or, and family and all this stuff, right? He brag about his Black life to a degree, but then he'll turn around and say something like this. I just don't know how he can speak so strongly when it's not his own personal experience. I mean, unless it is. Maybe it is his experience, but he just say, hey, this is who I'm married to. This is the child I'm raising. I know they hate me and treat me worse than white people, but I'm just gonna be committed. I mean, that could be his experience. I don't know. I just think it's odd for a married man to speak so negative about the same kind of woman that he is married to. It just makes no sense to me. It makes no sense. So, but that's just me. I'm very limited in my experiences in life and thinking. So I don't know everything. But when I heard it, because I did watch it and was listening to it when it occurred, I think it's about a year ago or so. And whenever it happened, I think I was watching it live, I think, or may have seen it after the fact or whatever. But it really touched me because I realized that I was married to that type of energy. I was married to a man, even though he was Black, just like Anton. A Black man. I was married to a Black man for 25 years who actually treated me that way. He didn't necessarily say those cold words out of his mouth, but the treatment was just the same. I was treated as though I was his enemy during the marriage. I had no grounds to be the enemy. I had no grounds to be the enemy. I mean, like, there was just nothing there. But Anton says that Black women, based on that clip, that Black women are this way because we will get with them, use them, and leave them. Get with them, use them, and leave them. So that was his grounding for saying all that. And it's really hard submitting to a man that believed that way. I mean, I did it. I did it. I had to for the kids' sake, and my own sake and the kids' sake. But I'm glad that he left because you can only live with a man that think like that, but for so long. It really wear you down. I don't know what his wife is like. I really don't care. But I know for me, being married to a man like that, think like that, and then raised our sons to think like that. When he divorced me, left me for a white woman because he think that they're so much better. Some black people really, really, really in their soul believe that white people are just so much better than black people. I'm not sure why. It doesn't make sense. It just don't, not to me. Based on what I see, white people are white people and black people are black people. There are similarities among the groups and there are differences. That's just normal. But I just don't see how the black woman has been the worst thing that a black man could ever experience. Worse than white men treatment. I just, I can't see it. But he can see it, and a lot of black men see it. A lot of them do. You know, I just don't see it. And maybe that will always be that, how there are differences between men and women? Maybe that's just one of them. That's just one of the things as a black woman that I will not see that the black man live with in his heart. I can't relate to that energy. I can't, you know, see that. I mean, and the only way a black woman can be accused of something like that if we, as a whole collective group, became the financial superpower in this country. If we end up with all the money that white men have, then, and all the dominance and power that white men have, then I could see a statement like that being true. But the black woman in this country, we're the poorest of women. You know what I mean? We don't have anything on that level to be that harmful to anybody. You know, most of us work and surviving. We're just working and surviving, hoping to have a decent relationship so we can have a few kids and, just endure this life. And then there's a lot of us because we have kids, and then men like that exist, we end up struggling on our own. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done in our community. But I did read Deuteronomy chapter 28. I believe that was yesterday. And that does shed light on why we treat each other so bad, why we speak so bad about ourselves. It explains why we hate ourselves and still can lay down with each other and have kids and stuff, even though we feel this way about each other. Believe these things about each other. I can't imagine beyond this point in my life being with a man again. I mean, I already did it and I survived and endured and I had 5 suicide attempts trying to get through all that. But I just can't imagine the rest of my life laying up with a man that believes that I am his greatest enemy. I'd rather keep my legs closed and stay to myself for the rest of my life than to be with a man who believed that. And not only just believe it, but treat me that way. I'm not going to put myself through it again. That second marriage treated me like that. I've been married twice, and I cannot say that about the first. The first marriage didn't leave me feeling all defeated and disgusting and suicidal. The first marriage didn't do that to me. That second marriage did. And that's because it had that Antoine, Anton Daniels type of mentality. Some black men think that their shit don't stink. Some black men think that they so successful that they can talk this way about their own women. Even though they claim they so successful that his family, of black people are better and happen to be more successful than the average black family and everything. But still, he could have those words come out of his mouth with all that success under his belt. He could still speak this way about black women, even though he personally claimed to be successful. But a lot of black men that, you know, get a certain education, get a certain amount of money, think they speak so proper and write so proper. You know, they really think that they are so above and beyond all other black people. And my ex was like that. He has actually said those things out of his own mouth. He said he was better than the people in his family just because of, who he was. I actually said, "You're not better than your brother. You're not better." He was like, "I am." I was like, "Well, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to argue with you." So ultimately, he just, and I just, "You're not better than me." I don't care how good my ex thought he was. He still wasn't better than me. He spent a lot of time in that marriage trying to get me to feel and believe I was so much less. And I'm like, how? I'll wash your drawers. I cook your food. I take your kids to school. I helped you write your dissertation for your PhD. What are you talking about? As I was writing my dissertation, I was writing his too. Now, he did all his own coursework for his PhD, you know, but it wasn't his dream to have a PhD. It was my dream for us to have a PhD. He was okay with getting a master's degree, but when it came to the PhD, that was my dream. And, he went with it for me. But I ended up having to write the dissertation. So again, I don't know. And I made sure we had not only our home, but I was into like, we had like rental property. You know, I just don't know how these men can come up with what they come up with. I know I worked my ass off in that marriage. That I'm just a worker like that anyway. I'm a team player. I believe in generational wealth. You know, I don't believe in leaving your kids high and dry. I believe in inheritance. Roll everything that I achieve over to them. While I'm alive, yeah, I'm going to enjoy my life and enjoy what I create. But at the end of the day, I'm going to leave it to my kids, whatever's left. Hopefully, 100% of what I create and produce go to my kids. But anyway, there are a lot of black men like this out there. They just feel like the black woman is embarrassing to them, hold them back, ugly, worse than white men treatment, all kind of stuff. But yet, We're accused of being treating them worse than the white man could ever do historically and all that. But at the same time, they marry us, have babies with us, you know, until they can get that white woman or man these days. And what's so sad about what Anton said is if black women treat black men worse than what the white man treat him, well, why are the black men always chasing behind white men? Why are they trying to achieve the same level of success as a white man? Why do they work for white men? The black man worship the white man because he has no choice. We live in America where white people pretty much they own everything. Now there's competition. Trump is bringing in competition. He's inviting $5 million minimum poker players to the table of immigrants. So rich white men, the richest of white men, will be competing in America. Will be competing. They're gonna. It's not just the immigrants that run barefoot across waters onto our borders. Those are not the immigrants that are, you know, the most concerned these days. It's those wealthy ones that's going to be coming in competing with the rich white men in our country. White people have so much trillions of dollars. They dominate this country. So every black man that's complaining about how horrible a black woman is as far as how we treat them compared to white men and stuff, well, they're chasing behind white men. And at the same time, can legally marry them now and lay up in their bed. So I'm not sure exactly where that kind of logic come from. That black women treat black men worse than white men do. When white men own everything, they got all the money. And black men can't even pay his bills unless he worked for the white man. He can't even pay his bills. He can't own his own business. He can't do anything in this country without a white man. No black man can do anything in this country without a white man. He just can't. So, in a way, he, well, of course, when he spoke those words, he meant to slam white black women and, and just throw us under the bus and roll over us a few times, right? But when you really listen to what he said, that means black women are powerful. If a black woman can be compared to a white man on any level, that's really more of a compliment than a slam. If a black woman can be compared to a white man on any level, that's more of a compliment than a slam, considering that black men can't do anything without the white man. Can't work, can't make money, can't have a house, can't do anything without him, and don't want to. He don't even want to do anything without him, you know? So if that's the case, well, it ain't so bad being a black woman then. Because why wouldn't I want my black man not to be able to do anything without me? I want my black man not to be able to do anything without me. I want him to chase after me. I want him to pursue me to no end because he can't breathe, eat, sleep, or whatever without me. He can't have shit without me. I'm just saying, if he can be online speaking that bold against black women, well, then I have the right to evaluate what he said and look at the pros and cons of it. So I feel, I mean, I know he was trying to put black women down and slam us and put us in our place and erase us off the earth and all that. I get that part. You know, the hate is that strong. Even though he married to a black woman and got a black daughter, it don't matter. He can speak that with while beating his chest. And like I said, I was married to a man like that. And it drove me crazy, but I didn't let him steal my soul though. You know what I mean? Yeah, he got to me. You know, he was trying to beat me down emotionally, beat me down spiritually, beat me down mentally, trying to make me think that he was better than me and that everybody else was, you know, and taught our boys to be the same way to the point where there is no communication between my ex and the boys. Now, these boys are grown men. They're like 26, 27 years old. We ain't talking no babies now. We're talking grown men who know how to make choices for themselves. And they live the white life. All three of them do to this day. That whole Anton Daniels energy is real, y'all. I lived it. I lived with that type of man. And they believe their success, their, you know, uh, access to white people put them above other black people. That's just how they are. I was married to one. I know exactly what it's like to feed that kind of man, clothe that man, you know, and send him off to work every day. I know what it's like to sleep with him, you know, massage his nappy head. And I know how to massage they, you know, feet, all that. I did all that just so he could run off and be with a white woman and act like I wasn't shit. Just like Anton Daniels was saying. Now, I didn't leave him. He left me and took the boys with him and lived a white life. They're living that white life. They think it's better. White people got better stuff, better cars, better houses, more money. You know, y'all know the white life. Y'all know. You know, so I endured. I endured and barely, but I did. It's not easy being married to that type of black man, the kind that hate black women so much. Even though they, you know, run through us, they still run through us, hate us and run through us at the same time. But I don't think it's a slam for black women to be compared to white men when it comes to black men, considering that the black man really in this country can't do nothing without the white man. Very little. Very little can a black man do because white people dominate America. But they're being challenged. When it comes to evening out the playing field, Trump is bulldozing over the American landscape. He don't care how rich white men are here. I mean, he's an immigrant. Yeah, he's a white man too. But he wasn't generationally, Trump is not from here generationally. So that's why he can come in with a whole different mindset and bring other international people to the tables. He's bringing some rich international people to the table. We don't see these people yet. We don't really know who they are yet. He do, but we don't yet. We're going to be amazed of all these rich immigrants that are going to be coming to this country. And they're going to be the new competitors to rich white men, these trillionaire, billionaire, millionaire white men. Being a millionaire today is like just being a thousandaire. You know, the millionaire status is the new thousandaire status. To be the billionaire is like the popular thing. Everybody want to be a billionaire now. That's the popular thing. So I'm just still trying to knock on the millionaire's door. I'm far from it. But somehow in my spirit, I feel it. In my spirit, in my soul, I can feel my millionaire status. I don't know why. I've never been a millionaire, not all at one time. You know what I mean? Maybe spread over my lifetime if you add it all up. But, you know, I don't know why a woman like me even think or feel or believe for 2 seconds that she'll be a millionaire. I don't know why. I just feel it. I've never had that kind of money on my own. I've always been that stay at home wife and mom that was dependent on her husband. So I personally have never had access to a lot of money. Never. I've never, I've just never made money like that. I took care of a household. I made sure my daughters and my sons and my husband, I made sure we were good. I did. I did the doggone thing. No matter what Anton say, no matter what my ex-husband treated me like, I know I did a good job. Perfect? No, no one's perfect. But I know I did a damn good job. I know I did. And I got receipts and proof and everything. And so I'm just trying to recover from being left. I mean, the way that Anton described that black women treat black men, that's what's happened to me twice. I was married to two black men, and both black men did me the way that Anton describes that black women treat black men. So I'm an exception to what he's talking about. I'm that black woman who had their back, and they still left me for the women and married these women. So now I understand why they treated me like that, because they think that black women ain't shit. It wasn't me personally. It was their mindset toward black women in general. Just in general. Because of their mindset, I got treated bad. So, I heard Anton say that. I heard him. And I was like, what? I'm like, what's wrong with him? What kind of black man could speak something like that out into the world? What kind? I was like, the kind I was married to, the kind that I raised in my own household and sent out into the world. That's the kind. And so I decided that I'm done. I put in 32 years of legal marriage with black men. And that last one treated me the way that Anton Daniels was speaking that day. He treated me like that. And so I said, I'm just done. I'm done. You know, I treat myself much better. Much better. I treat myself so much better. And it feels good. It feels good to be detached, and I can reclaim my own energy, all that love, attention that I gave my husband and the boys. Not perfect, but I did a good job. It wasn't appreciated, but that's okay. I can give it back to me now. There's three less people in my world, and I can put all that energy and effort back into myself, into my own kids and grandkids. I don't have to worry about no Anton Daniels no more. That type of man. I ain't got to worry about that no more. Just stay to myself, keep my legs closed, and be thankful I endured that type of man. I endured. I'm so thankful. I'm just going to keep my old, ugly, evil, black self to myself and spare black men of being bothered with me. I'm just going to take myself off the market. According to them, I'm old, ugly, and unwanted anyway and should just be dead, drained in a tub with me and my kids, according to Anton. Me and my kids just be, just gone with the bathwater. But no, we're not. We're here and we're doing our best and we're just going to leave black men alone. We're just going to leave them alone. That's the best thing we can do. I'm not bringing no more black men around my kids and grandkids. I'm not going to do it. No men. Okay. Now, I date whoever I want to date in the background, but they won't be around my kids based on how that second husband treated us, based on how he treated us, like that Anton Daniels treatment. Mm-mm. I will never do that again. Never. If I have to cut my own grass, take out my own trash, no problem. Shovel my own snow, no problem. Fix my own whatever, no problem. If I'm going to be talked to and belittled, forget it. Just forget it. We good. Because I already got through the hardest part. 32 years of dealing with black men that treat women like that. I put up with it. I did it. I got the kids grown from those situations, you know. So now I'm not saying every single black man is like that. Obviously, that's not the case. Obviously not. Obviously not. But too many do. There's a lot of Anton Daniels, Kevin Samuels, a lot of those dudes are out there. And they're proud to be this way. Proud to talk about black women like this. You know, I don't think black men realize how bad they look to white America. And they may say, we don't care what white America think about how we think. We have the right to say what we want about our women. We have the right. Okay, fine. But you're the same man that expect to get employed by these white men. You want these white men to give you jobs, to consider you. They're laughing at y'all for treating your women this way. They're laughing at you. Even though they treat their women just as bad, but they don't go around bragging about it to the extent that black men do. Now I hear, some of the white men on YouTube saying some stuff here and there, but it is not on the same level or scale that black men do it. But I understand why black men are doing it. It makes money. It makes money. I know it's a money thing. The more black men get on the internet and talk about black women the way they do, how ugly we are and just whatever, how horrible we are, just always calling us out all the time. No problem. They make money. That's how they paying their bills and whatever. It's fine. I mean, again, I endured. I had 5 suicide attempts trying to deal with these type of men, and I'm free now. I'm free. I can check that box. I did what I was supposed to do when it comes to black men. Both my husbands are wealthy. As far as black people wealth go in the hood. As far as hood wealth go, I'm not saying like white people wealth. No, black people can. You know, the first one is a business owner that we started a business like over 30 years ago. He still run the same business that I named and helped him get it off the ground. The second husband, you know, engineer. I've known him since ninth grade. We were in the same honors program. I knew him first, but he ended up being my second husband. The first husband, I met him in college, and we just had to, get married and be together. We had all these dreams, and we made those dreams come true. Started a business, bought a home. We did the doggone thing. I believe in being entrepreneurs and successful, and I want to be a millionaire all on my own. I want my husbands to be millionaires all on their own. And I did everything I could to make sure both my husbands were on the top of their game. When I met the second husband or married him, he only had a bachelor's degree in engineering. But I encouraged him, get your master's degree, get your doctorate degree. I want to see you be a professor at a college as an engineer. And I believe that we were both called in ministry. He said he was anyway. Let's have a church. We need our own church. We can work at universities. I wanted to start my own school. I mean, I'm just an ambitious woman, but I'm the kind of person that felt that these dreams can come true with a husband. I was wrong. I needed to make those dreams come true for me without them. I mean, with or without them. Having husbands should not have been uh, connected to my dreams. That's where I didn't have experience in life. How to pursue all those things that I wanted to do. Have my PhD, start my own schools, start businesses, all that. I should have did that stuff on my own, whether I was married or not. Having a husband should not have had anything to do, with my success. But I'm thinking I'm married, we're doing this together, and God don't call one without the other, and just that churchy stuff. I was really into that, and I'm like, this is something that people do together if you're married. But I was wrong. I was wrong. And that's okay. I was wrong. And so somehow, some way, I got to make up for it. And that's where my, faith come in God, you know. But at the end of the day, can no black man say that I held him back? I pushed both husbands way ahead of me, and I'm the one that's left behind. I'm the one that's left behind, struggling with, I'm not really struggling. I can't claim struggle, but I mean, I'm not a millionaire. You know what I'm trying to say? I don't have my own school, and there's no reason why I shouldn't by now. No reason. Based on the kind of men I married that they're successful, why couldn't they make sure that I was successful too? Why not? Like I put into them, why couldn't they do it back? Why couldn't it be reciprocal? But, black men got their excuses and reasons as to why, I deserve to be left behind and my husband's, get to be happy with the next woman. I'm sure they have a whole book about it. But I am one of those women who put everything into the men and into myself too. I mean, I got my own. As I was working on my PhD, I was, had my husband working on his at the same time. I treated him as well as myself, period. On our best and worst day, I treated him as well as myself and our kids and his family. What I mean? I'm one of those wives that, like, for example, in the second marriage, we took all of our, I only had one niece and nephew, but he has so much many more. But we took all of our nieces and nephews to Disney, stuff like that. All holidays, we were always with our family and stuff. We did the doggone thing. And he still left for a white woman. That's just, when a man don't want you, he will use you and then go off to what he really wants. So it goes both ways. It goes both ways. And we probably did learn to treat each other this bad from white men. I wouldn't be surprised if we learned to treat each other this bad by white men. So it's not just the black woman, Anton. It's also the black man too. Based on your scenario, I don't believe in any of that anyway, but if you can say that the black woman is the worst thing that ever happened to a black man, the black woman can flip that and say the same thing. She can say the same thing about you. I'm just saying. Because, we're not that far from the plantation. We're not that far from the plantation. We ain't that far. No, I mean, just think about it. DEI and all that just got swiped away. So again, we're America ain't changed that much. So if white men are that bad and black men are our leaders in our community, then it just makes sense that if the white man is that bad, then the black man is just as bad when it comes to the black woman. And what's between the black man and the black woman is the white woman. The white woman can cut in whenever she wants. That's what happened to me. A white woman just cut on into my marriage, took my husband and ran off. Now he was more than willing, ain't like, he was resisting. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying it's the black woman, the white woman, the black man, and the white man. And I think the black man and white woman are kind of like interchangeable. They've been the main mixing in our country for decades, many, many decades, since the law changed to allow interracial marriages. The black man and the white woman have become almost the same person because of the level of mixing that they do. Black women and white men have not mixed together on the same level and scale as the black man and white woman. So there's still this gap between the white man and black woman. There's still this gap there. As we all, the white man is on one side, the black woman is on the other side, and we're both for decades been looking at the black man and white woman in bed for at least 60, 70 years or something. We just been legally watching this shit happen. Black woman over here, white man over there, and we're looking at the white woman and the black man in bed. But see, now white women are starting to, well, it's always happened, but these white women that's been laying up with these black men, they're starting to change. They're not the same white woman. They're starting to shoot these men, kill them. There is something's happening with that whole white woman, black man thing. Something is happening. More and more stories of black men either running from these women in the streets or just getting plain old shot or whatever. More stories are coming out. Now, it ain't nothing new. All this stuff has been going on for a long, long time, but it's just getting media attention now. It's coming to the forefront. And I think one of the reasons is because there are more rich white men that are interested in black women. Now that the white man is like, maybe there is a little bit of value with these black women, especially the ones that we've paid for their education, the ones that we've given these government jobs to. I mean, I know they're taking them away, but you know what I mean? There's been a lot invested in the black woman while black men have been in white women's beds. The black woman has been developing herself. And the white men want to get a return on their investment. And in order for that to go as smoothly as maybe they have in their minds, it comes at the cost of the white woman and black man. They're the ones that are going to feel it the most as more black women become wealthy. So when I look at um, Tamara, you know how Tia and Tamara are twins? She is not going to let go of her white man, okay? It don't matter how racist he may or may not be. She ain't gonna let go of that white man. He rich and she got her own money too. She ain't got no reason to leave. And the other girl who married Tia, who married the black man, yeah, she left him. She did. And he's likely to move on to a white girl. I mean, that's the next step for a black man, you know, unless he is bold enough to just go straight for a white man. It's legal. The next best thing is a white woman. I mean, where else there to go? After Tia, where can he go? Yeah, he can date more celebrity black women, but that's a lateral move. It's a lateral move. The only thing he can do is find, one of the cutest white girls in Hollywood, and that's still a lateral move because, again, Tia, daddy was white. You know what I mean? She's mixed. So no matter what Corey does, it's a lateral move. You know, it's a lateral move, but that's usually the next step in a situation like that. If your black wife divorced you and you're a black man, the next logical step is a white woman. Even though it's a lateral move in his case, because, she's a mixed black woman. She's mixed. So no matter what he do, it's going to be a lateral move. So either he need to go back to his wife and kids because he don't make it like that. Yeah, he made his first little $1 million on his own through Tyler Perry, but where else is it going to come from at his age? He don't have enough Hollywood background of his own. But, Tia is different. Her relationship with Hollywood goes much deeper. So either he go back to his wife and kids, make a lateral move, which is not a big splash in the water. It's a pat on the back, but it's not a big splash in the water, or be with a white man. That's it. Just like my ex. After me, I mean, like, he's this engineer with a PhD. Okay, great. But after me, any other black woman is a lateral move. In this case, the particular white woman he chose, a lateral move. So the only other thing that my ex could have done was be with a white man to actually elevate, to actually make it make sense. So, and it's legal for men to be together. So I challenge black men that feel like Anton, that black women ain't shit and we just deserve to be eliminated. The next best thing for you is a white man, a rich one, not poor. Don't be with a poor white man. What sense do that make? Go for it. Go get those $1 trillion. Marry you. Black men need to marry white men if they really trying to bust some moves. I'm talking about the kind that feel that black women ain't shit. Then you need a white man, a rich one. And don't be surprised if he have you put on a dress. How else can you get him if you don't wear a dress? Not too many rich billionaire white men that's into men want a dominant man. You're going to have to submit to him. So I'm just talking in general, y'all. Just talking. I'm not in any relationships anymore. Thank God. I'm done. I got friends. I have, a few couples that I talk to, and that's good enough for me. Good enough for me. After 32 years of marriage to black men, I'm good. I put my time in. I serve my sentence. I served. So I'm good now. I'm thankful. My kids are all grown. All I got to do is just pace myself and, and just keep the faith that I will leave enough money behind. I want millions. I want to be able to leave millions behind for my kids. And I got to make up for all the years I gave to black men and they just left me for other women. I got to make up for that. That was my dumb. I know I'm dumb. A foolish black woman. No matter how dumb and foolish I've been, I still don't need to be just drained in a tub. Me and my kids just need to, just be eliminated. I wasn't that dumb. I was dumb and foolish, like the Bible say. Those foolish women laden with sin. I was her in that second marriage. I was her all day long. My home was just fine. You know, until I let a man just rip it apart. The plans and goals I had were just fine until I let a man just bulldoze over me. You know, tried to take me and my kids out with the decisions, his leadership skills. You know what I mean? But we're past that point. I got past my Anton Daniel type of a husband. I got past that. I got past that. Praise God. I mean, yeah, I'm pissed that someone stole half my pension. I am pissed about that. The white woman, after she put her 10 years in, or if he don't die first, she's going to I'm going to have to share half that pension with her. Yeah, I'm pissed about that. But other than that, I'm glad she took him. I mean, like, shoot, he hated me. He hated me and I was suicidal. So she did me a favor. I mean, yeah, I cry on one end. I mean, not like real tears anymore, but I don't think I've ever cried over her. I mean, because I didn't find out about her until like 2.5 years after he left. Yeah, he was messing around with her before, but I just didn't know about her. So I never had a chance to really cry about that. But, again, I have a reason to be pissed off about a white woman stealing my half my pension after putting in 25 years with that man. I do have a reason to be pissed about that. But at the same time, I thank her too, because he really hated me. He didn't want me, he could care less about me. He was just using me until he had the confidence to be with a white woman, until he had enough money and confidence. And I know that's the truth. And it is what it is. And that's why I'm done when it comes to, marriage and being in a monogamous relationship with anybody, not even just black men, white, it's all of them. I'm too old and ugly anyway at this point in life, and that's fine. I love it. I love being old, ugly, and unwanted. I love it. It's the safest thing for me. You know, my youth paid off. My youth paid off very well. So I got to make sure my old, unwanted stage pays off too. And I'm hoping that being old and black and ugly and unwanted and evil and all the stuff that I've been accused of, I pray that it make me a millionaire. Because being young and selected at the time and whatever didn't yield that for me. Putting in 32 years of marriage, giving it the best I had. And I mean quality stuff, y'all. It didn't yield anything for me. Nothing above what the law would allow anyway. Everything that I got, you know, based on that divorce, he left me. He walked out on me, okay? And married somebody else in my face, y'all. I got minimum what the law allows. I got minimum. So in order for me to have what I really need in life, if it's not too late, then I need to stay solo and maximize off the fact that I'm old. I gotta maximize off the fact that I'm unwanted. I gotta maximize. You know what I mean? And I think there's ways to do it. You can use your beauty to get rich, and you can use your youthful beauty to be rich, and you could use your old ugliness to be rich too. You know? So there's ways to be successful no matter where you are in life. Whether you're young and beautiful or old and ugly, you can still make some money. I mean, like real money, millionaire money stuff. It's not absolutely too late for me. I'm just pacing myself right now and figuring it out. And it's either going to work for me personally, or I'll be able to pass this work, what I'm doing, down to the next generation. Maybe one of my grandsons, I have 7 of them, or my granddaughter, maybe one of them may pick up the torch and carry it. Again, I'm working on my own theory. It's called the eternal deficit of mankind. The eternal deficit of mankind theory started here with Dr. Alicia the Preacher, right here on YouTube. Now, before I started my YouTube channel, I was working on this theory way before I started my channel, but I brought it here to YouTube. And I've been talking about this eternal deficit of mankind theory for years. I was working on it without a name because I didn't know what I was doing. And so, I mean, I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know what it was about. Again, this is something that I believe Most High is inspiring out of me, you know? And so one day I sat down with a gentleman in Florida, and and I was showing him my work, and he named it. So I didn't even come up with his name by myself, the eternal deficit of mankind. I didn't even come up with this name by myself. So I can't even take credit for the name of my work, not fully. But it took me showing somebody it. He allowed me to uh, use 2 hours of his life. He was in my apartment for about 2 hours watching YouTube videos, looking at different sketches and stuff on hotel pamphlets and things. I would pads, the little notepads in hotels. I have all these little pictures of stuff I've drawn up, and he just looked at all the work that I presented to him and gave it a name. I was like, yes, yes. Mm. So that's why, you know, a husband is one thing, but just a man, period, a black man, period, can be useful. At least in my life. So I don't limit myself to a husband anymore. This was not even my husband. This man was really a stranger. He was just someone in town that used, he wasn't homeless. He was not homeless. He had a family, but his family, he's an old man. He's like, what, probably about 30s, in his 30s. But he would just walk around the town that I lived in Florida. He was just one of those. He had a good family, but, he had issues. He had issues. And so he was one of those, let me see, how can I explain this guy? A genius, very intelligent, very smart. But something went wrong in his life where, he just wasn't independent, and he just walk around town with his shirt off, like hitting his head. I think he had some type of something along those lines. I don't know. But I heard that he was smart, the smartest guy in the county. That's all I needed to hear. I ain't care if he was autistic, hitting his head. I ain't care. I heard he was smart, and he used to write, white people used to come and pay him to write their college papers. White people would pay him to write their college papers, in his day. He was so smart. I said, I need such a man. And so when I saw him, I walked in a store, and he always would ask for change. So I was like, yeah, I got 50 cents for you. I actually gave him $1 that day. And I said, I live in the projects. He said, I know you the girl from Detroit. I mean, everybody in town, if you've come from north in that little town, you were known. Just the fact that I had moved from out of town, especially from up north, from Detroit, in this little small town in Florida, everybody knew me before I knew them. Way before I would ever know who they were. They knew who I was. And then, I was going to a church and all that, and everybody knew. pastor, in that town. Everybody knew pastor in that town. So, yeah. And so I said, well, come to my apartment whenever you want to. I have some things I want to show you, talk to you about. I didn't know this man, but I knew that he had something for me. I knew that his intelligence was going to be beneficial to me some kind of way. And so it took him about 2 months, but he eventually showed up in my apartment, knocked on the door, and I was ready for him that day. I was like, come on in. I've been waiting for you. And so we would, we had a couple of drinks and was smoking. I was just like showing him everything. And that man named my work, and I've been sticking with it ever since. I don't have a problem with black men. I don't. I love my brothers. I do. And I know the value black men have. It's just not reciprocal. It's not reciprocal. Black men don't value me the way I value them. And that's okay. That's okay. When I read Deuteronomy 28 and other scriptures in the Bible that explains our plight, I just have to forgive my brothers for being rude and keep it moving. And then you may say, well, why do you use Anti Daniel's, content on your channel? Regardless to that part of Anton Daniels that I don't like how he feel about black women. I don't. I hate it. I hate how he speak about us and all that. I hate it. But I'm used to it. I don't know life any other way. I don't know many other black men that speak positive. I don't know many other black men. So it's either deal with the black men we got, regardless to their opinion of us, or don't have no men in our life, in my case. And I have 7 grandsons that I have to navigate through this world too. Now, fortunately, their fathers don't, at least don't talk that way, act that way that I detect. I mean, I know black men are black men, I get that. But right now, my grandsons are okay. I don't hear them saying, I can't stand black women and all that. I'm not going to let them talk like that. Now, when it came to my sons, they were adopted. And again, their father is their father, and he has the right to take the lead in his home. So I let him be the father he wanted to be to them sons. I just didn't agree. But I'm not gonna stop him. He a man. He's the lead. I don't believe in biting the hand that feeds you. And it is what it was. It was what it was. So now all 3 of them are gone living their white lady life. They love white women and they're gone living their life. So but me and my black daughters, we're good. And we don't need them. We don't need them, that type of energy in our world. So I did my job. And, any job has a beginning, middle, and an end. So that was an assignment in my life. It was either an assignment, punishment, whatever. Whatever it was in my life, I got through it and it's gone. And I'm glad. I've shed a lot of tears, ended up in hospitals and all that kind of stuff over this, but it's over now. Now I can free up my own mind, heart, and it's taken all these years to do it. And I'm almost there, guys. I am almost there. Almost ready to launch. Almost. I have not been in no big hurry because I know I have a lot of healing to do, you know. But I love black men. And I got 7 grandsons. And when I say I love my grandsons, I see them every day. One live with me, and the other one I'm active in making sure he get back and forth to work. And the other ones, I take them skating and bowling, and we talk about girls. And like my one grandson, he admitted to me that, Granny, I have a preference to Mexican girls. And I said, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with having a preference. My preference just happened to be black men. And the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Everybody has a preference, but treat everyone right. If you can't be with your preference and you decide to be with a quote unquote non preference, don't treat your non preference like she ain't shit. Treat your non preference just as well as you would your preference because you the one that's picking her at the moment. You the one laying up with her at the moment. Why slam her when you're the one that's choosing her? Don't make it make sense. And my grandson said, I understand that, Grandma. That make I mean, like, yeah. I said, yeah, it's okay to have a preference, but you may not always get your preference. And just because you have a preference, don't mean that it's necessarily right for you. It's just what you like, you know? So I was able to marry my preference type the first time. I was able to marry my preference type, you know? But even though he was my preference type, I knew he wasn't my soulmate, my twin flame, my everything. I knew that. But I was still good to the man. We started a business that he still run to this day. And the only thing bad I got to say about him really is just, he was sleeping around and married the one of the people he slept around with. He married her. So that's the only thing really I got to say bad about him. Other than that, I he didn't take away from my blackness. And he happened to love white women too. But him loving white women did not take away from my blackness. It didn't make me feel less of a black woman. I didn't feel, I knew I was not his preference. I knew I wasn't his preference. But at the same time, he was my preference, but I knew he wasn't my soulmate, if that makes sense. So just because somebody is your preference or not, you know what I mean, doesn't mean that, I don't know, it just doesn't carry a lot of weight to me. Whether a person is a preference or not, they're still going to be treated the same. It's the point I'm trying to make. I'm going to treat you, whether you're my preference or not, as well as I treat myself, and possibly as bad as I treat myself. That's my range. My range is how well or bad I treat my own self. As long as I'm like that with you, whether you my preference or not, then we should be good. And likewise, I should be good in your life as long as you treat me as well and no worse than yourself. All right, guys, I'm done rambling on this. I was hoping to be able to play some of that on here, but my phone won't act right. My other phone, it's not acting right, so oh well. All right, guys, that's it. Click like, subscribe, share my videos, hit that notification bell. I'm not monetized anywhere on social media yet. So if you just want to be a blessing to me, it'd be greatly appreciated. My PayPal is Dr. Leisha the Preacher, just like on my channel. Thanks for listening and be blessed. Bye.